Hey, what's up, man? The Darkside. Now, this is a good magazine. I don't hit and run this. I get this. And this one was a really strong issue. A lot of disparate things that I like in one issue. It's almost like they were reading my mind. So you got to cover, of course, Alice Cooper, huge Alice Cooper fan. The original band, the different solo stuff, the new wave stuff, the heavy metal 80s stuff he did with the Rambo guy. Great, one of the great. I seen him in concert like twice. Amazing guy. But yeah, and a lot of other things. We'll get into that. These Are the Damned, one of my favorite Hammer movies that is barely mentioned. So, and of course, the Mummy, the Mummy sequels that are hanging over. But it's kind of funny. I saw this. I liked this cover, as you can see. And I think it's cool that he's actually not. Bride of Frankenstein is wearing the Alice Cooper makeup. Although I will say there is a part of me that's like, is it really appropriate? Obviously, that's Elsa Lanchester. Is that really appropriate to to kind of do that? Not even as I'm not a prude, and I'm definitely not like Rue Morgue, afraid to show anything like that. It's just kind of weird. I guess. I mean, she's passed away for many years now, but part of me was like, But anyway, let's enough of that. Let's get in there. And my mate Alan, hey, I always like this guy's editorials because he's a very cheeky guy. He's funny. Right? I like to, and he's talking about Bonfire Night. Remember, this is November issue, right? This came out in late December, so I think the December issue should be coming out shortly. Of course, the Bonfire Night or Fireworks Night. Right? I wish we had that. I wish we had Guy Fawkes Night, Bonfire Night in America. You figured they would have. Just as an excuse to have just more, autumn night festivals or whatever. But anyway, it's kind of cool. It's funny here. I just found this out. According to Alan, right? And what about jumping jacks? If you got any of these tucked away in a drawer, they could be worth something because the British government banned them because of their erratic nature. What? Are you kidding me? Now I got a funny jumping jack story. Okay, check this out. It's 1985. And yours truly, I got my hands on some jumping jacks, right, from the year before. Okay, now we used to get fireworks, right? We used to, in Chinatown, you would get fireworks, but the guys selling them to you were not Chinese, they were Italians, right? And I wanted to, for some reason in my head, I wanted to make sure they worked, right, for the big day. Obviously it was summer. And so I said, let me test it out. So what do? In my garden apartment, right, the little kitchen we had, I decided I was going to test it out. I was going to light the jumping jack inside my apartment. Right, my mom was at work. Obviously, school was out for summer. Right, so I go. I know. I'll be smart. I'll put the jumping jack in a shoebox, and so it won't burn the floor. It'll just go around in the shoebox. So I put it in the shoebox. I light it. The first thing it does, of course, is it flies right out of the shoebox and scorches the linoleum floor of the kitchen. I tried to hide it, but I got found out. So that was my jumping jack story. But apparently in Old Blighty, you can't even have freaking jumping jacks. So I mean, you could have freaking, you could have illegal immigrants up on your shore, landing on your shores and having to put them up. But anyway, let's not get into that. Marilyn Chambers. Now you know what? This is, of course, she was a porno actress, but she was in a Rabbit. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen a lot of David Cronenberg films yet. I'm gonna watch Videodrome shortly on a platform that has it. But of course, it goes over Marilyn Chambers and how she got into. Oh, look at this. Here we go. This writer. Here we go. When viewed through the lens of the pandemic, David Cronenberg's Rabbit certainly has an eerily prescient quality to it. It's funny. There's a lot of prescient fictional nightmare narratives that you could have applied to this thing. But an actual horror pandemic is not one of them. Anyway, now of course she seemed to be dragged, almost kicking and screaming into pornos. And I have a funny story about this. I'll tell you. Okay? I remember it was like 1990. I was my second stepdad's, his brother-in-law and his sister. They had a place, an apartment in Canarsie, if you know where Canarsie is in Brooklyn, right? And we went over there. I forgot what holiday it was, but like we're there, and the brother-in-law, he was a bad drunk, so he was already hammered in the middle of the day. And we're there, and there were kids there. There were like small kids there, and he comes out, he takes a tape, and he puts it in the VCR, right? So I'm there. I'm just like, well, what's he doing? Right? When everyone's eating in the they're eating in the dining area, right? So he puts him behind the green door. So he starts watching this hardcore porno film with little kids walking around looking at the TV. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was kind of like, but I didn't want to say nothing because it was his apartment. I didn't want to like, I'm not gonna tell an older guy even though he was drunk. You didn't really, like when older people like when I was young, you didn't cross drunk older people. It was a good way to get like fucking beat up. But anyway, my second stepdad, who's a real moral guy. We butted heads a lot, but he's a good man. He comes over, he sees this, he starts yelling at him, screaming at him, "What the hell is wrong with you? This kid's." And he looked at me and goes, "Well, you saw this? You didn't say anything?" I'm like, I'm shrugging my shoulders. It's not my apartment. I don't tell a guy what to do, especially a guy that was bigger than me at the time. So he shut it off. I just thought that was funny. So anyway, it was interesting. I didn't know she was the Ivy Snow model either. But and apparently she had, I just think this is cool. She had a disco song. She recorded a disco single. I love disco music. Benihana. So I gotta find this on YouTube. I mean, I guess it's more fun the incidental stories than the actual story. But it was interesting. Apparently, she was trying to get a role in other film, Hardcore. Remember that with George C. Scott? Remember the scene? The detective finds his daughter and goes, Mister Whatever, be prepared for this, and he shows him to basically her in the hardcore porno film, and he starts breaking down. Shut it up! Remember that? Anyway, apparently they didn't want her for that. So. And real quick, I gotta quibble here. Despite Americans' puritanical views of sex, you gotta stop with this. There's no America is not puritanical views on sex. Okay, that's been shown to be total bull crap. And I'm not saying it because it should. I wish it actually was puritanical in a lot of ways, like you would know. But it's not. You gotta stop with that. That's another European stereotype that has not been borne out. Okay, and the friggin' downfall, the fallout of this is still hitting everybody. So anyway, so I just thought it was interesting to see Marilyn Chambers, and there she is good. She's lucky she's alive, to be frank, and she did have a bad drug problem. So that we'll talk about an evil industry, that the porn industry. So I wonder who could be. Hey, shut up. I don't go into the letters column, right? But I like for some reason we have someone here. Thanks to the magic ingredient of it gets into the muscle and brains. Yeah. Oh boy. I just thought I'm like, man. Remember that? Remember Alex Still Go to Mars, dude? Remember that? They land in Mardi Gras and they see all like the costumes and they think those are aliens. So I remember this chick, this actress. She had a really unique look. Andre Melly. Remember she's in Brides of Dracula? She was like a interesting looking woman. But anyway, I just thought of that. So now remember I went over to Mummy like kind of in September, and so they're going over the release of the Mummy and the sequels that are in it. Now this bloke here, he actually likes he likes the first film, right? It's not the Mummy's Hand. He thought was enjoyable. I told you that this was my least favorite one. It was like an action adventure. The characters essentially are. I'm rooting for the cultists, right? And the one guy was like, I'm from Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I cannot stand that. I like the Bowery Boys. I like that, but I don't like when they have it all the time in these films in the context of having a character like this. So the Mummy's Hand, I didn't like as much as the three very dark, downbeat sequels where Lon Chaney, my man, was the Mummy. Right? It's not as enjoyable as the Mummy's Hand. No, you're wrong, mate. The Mummy's Tomb and the other films are great. I like how he gets revenge on these assholes from the first film. I went over these. You can see that video to it, but I really like these films. These actually were really good. This is where the Mummy. I mean, all these films basically inspired the Hammer version, where this, and yeah, he was kind of slow in this version. The friggin' dude, The Hammer's mommy, man, Christopher Lee. He's like the damn Terminator. He's so quick. He smashes through everything, and fucks everybody up. Uh, but we went over this thing, and also that one scene, like the scene of the princess Ananka reviving in the dirt, coming out of the dirt in a trance. It is one of the best visuals. I always thought that was an amazing scene. So, but like I said, we went over this. It's just interesting that they come to it a couple months after the release. So, very very underrated Universal horror films, the Mummy sequels. So I like them a lot. So